What's going on,
5.
everybody?
Oh,
Are we really gonna have to do another take?
I think we're off to a hot start. We can just leave it there.
All right, we'll just start right there. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Washed Nuggs podcast, the show where a couple cousins talk hoops, the NBA, and keep you updated on everything you need to know about your Denver Nuggets. The show is being recorded on Wednesday, December 17th at about 7 p.m. Mountain Time. We usually record on Thursdays, but thought we'd go off on a Wednesday since the Nuggets play tomorrow. I'm joined by two of my best friends, one a cousin, and one is kind of a cousin, right? Matty Ice, the somewhat Kennedy cousin. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. Glad to be in the somewhat cousin category, but doing good and holding it down in the fort. Got some great Denver news today for you guys, so stay tuned.
Ooh, looking forward to it. Also joined by Kennedy Phillips in St. Louis. How you doing, Bear?
I'm doing well, guys. Good to be back. Getting towards Christmas time. I know we might have a little fun segment towards the end here, talking some Christmas, but that means school and work is about to have a nice little break for me, so I'm doing well.
Awesome. Yeah, dealing with finals and stuff and kids asking for grades that probably shouldn't be changed, huh?
Maybe not.
Maybe.
I can't confirm.
Neither can confirm or deny. But got a great show for you guys. Let's just hop into some news and notes. As always, we'll give you a standings update and a record update. The Nuggets are currently 19 and 6, still standing second in the Western Conference. This continues to be the greatest start in franchise history through 25 games. The Nuggets are now on pace to win 62 games. I know before the season our goal was to kind of be at that 60-game mark. Franchise best, as we noted last episode, was 57. Nuggets also have the highest offensive rating in the NBA at 126.1, and they're quite a few points ahead of the Knicks and Rockets at 122.9, so kind of pulling away in that category, which is pretty cool. Recently extended that road win streak to 11 with a win in Sacramento, and then the other night finally broke that 4-game home losing streak against Houston. We'll get into those games later, but the Nuggets are now on a 5-game win streak. It's just an awesome time to be not only a Denver sports fan, but just a Nuggets fan. How are you guys feeling about the Nuggets' hot start so far?
Sorry, I thought Matt was going to get it. I feel like every week I've had a little bit of a break here and there, missing some pods, but I feel like I say the same thing every time I'm on. It's like it doesn't really feel like they're off to that hot of a start. There's been some frustrating losses, and then you look at the record and you see 19 and 6. And I think for me, I compare them to OKC and their hot start. But when you really look at how it ranks in terms of Nuggets history, it's pretty crazy how much adversity they've had to fight through, but also having such a great record has been really, really good to see.
Yeah, no doubt. Matt, your thoughts so far?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about it on the last couple pods, and they are doing enough to win. And I think, like we said last time, that's kind of that's only what they need to do right now. I'm glad that they snapped their home losing streak. That was good to see, especially against a really good Houston team. So I'm sure we're going to touch on that later. Don't have to get too into it right now. And then extending the road win streak to 11, they just seem like a good team, or they just seem like they are doing a great job on the road and preparing for games on the road. So it's going to be fun to kind of see how they continue going up until the All-Star break here. But no notes, man. We're going to get into it a little bit more, but love what I'm seeing from them at the moment.
Yeah. And in terms of the Western Conference standings, we're now 4.5 games back from the Thunder. Last episode, we were 6 games back. So it's cool to see us kind of chipping a little bit closer to that one seed. I don't know if we'll be able to, number one, get it, and number two, attain it throughout the season, but it'll be fun seeing how this competitive Western Conference picture will look throughout the season. So, Matt, why don't you dive into our next note for us.
Yeah. So Denver's kind of been on the top of the sports world here a little bit in three major phases of professional sports going on right now. So the Nuggets, the Avalanche, and the Broncos. The Nuggets, like Pat stated, are off to their best start in franchise history, on pace for 62 wins. The Avalanche are 24-2-7, which is unreal.
Wow.
They're off to a super hot start in the NHL. They look pretty dominant, and I'm excited for that. And there's been some crazy talks going around about a joint parade. And I don't want to speak too soon. I'll knock on wood there, but there's some talks going around, and then the Broncos are off to the best record in the NFL with 12-2. Their franchise best was set back in 1998 at 14-2. That team went on to win the Super Bowl against the Atlanta Falcons, and that was the last time we ever saw John Elway suit up in a Broncos uniform. And then we kind of discussed a whole bunch of stuff on the Sunday Debrief pod, so go check it out on our sister show that is on the Washed Kings network. But they're doing a great job breaking that stuff down, and they had a really good show yesterday. Go give them a like and a comment. So that's all I've got. The Denver sports are looking fantastic. Ken, you want to take us away?
Yeah, I mean, it's just to touch on that kind of before I move on. I feel like this is a time that, 5, 10, 15 years from now, we can look back and hopefully it's, a couple of at least trips to the championship in each respective sport. And it's pretty cool. We kind of had this a couple years ago when the Avs and Nuggets kind of went back to back, 2022, 2023. And I feel like throughout our lifetimes, we had a really high of the Broncos for a couple of years there. And then outside of that, it's been pretty rough here and there, minus the Tebow days. But it's fun to have multiple teams to kind of check in on, and gives me more of a reason to pay attention to some things outside of the Nuggets. I'm not a big hockey guy, but I feel like I'm going to be missing out if I don't start tuning in towards what the Avs are putting together right now, which has been really cool. And hopefully this rubs off onto the Rockies someday, but we'll see.
Someday. We can keep
Yeah.
dreaming about that one, I think, but fingers crossed. You never know, man. Baseball takes a weird turn here and there, so we can definitely hope.
It's definitely rare. I mean, to have two teams that are just dominant in the sports world, but let alone three is just incredible. So enjoy these times. It's rare, so enjoy it as a Denver fan. Ken, you want
I'm
to?
shocked. I thought you were going to hit us with the good old days quote.
I always do that. I'll save it for another time.
Getting us in our feels. Kind of wrapping up the news and notes segment for you guys. We had the championship game of the NBA Cup last night. The New York Knicks actually came out on top, 124-113 against a Spurs team that, to me, has been, pretty fun to watch. As hard as it might be to admit, like, I think what they've really kind of scrapped together after a rough couple seasons there 5-10 years ago, post Duncan in that era, has been really cool to see kind of how they've grown that. And Wemby's, he just gets better and better. And he was on a minutes restriction last night. I think he finished up with like 19 points or something like that. I can't find it in my notes. 18 points, but he's kind of on that minutes restriction right now. So it was cool that they were able to beat OKC and give them a loss in that loss column, but they kind of choked away the lead after three quarters. Knicks came on a big 8-0 run in the fourth quarter and kind of took it from there. I think the cup is slowly starting to grow. The only beef I really have with it is, like, I feel like the championship game shouldn't be on a Tuesday night. I feel like if they really want to keep growing that product, which I feel like, if anything, Adam Silver is pretty responsive to things and kind of has a feel for the online worlds of NBA talk. And I think that that's something that I think they could earn a little bit more respect with that, and more life for the NBA Cup it's kind of like the MLB All-Star game. It's like middle of the week, and I kind of forget that, oh, the home run derby's tonight. So we'll see, and we have the All-Star game for the NBA looking forward. But OG Anunoby had 28 points. He's a stud, hitting I think 5 threes throughout the game, and then Jalen Brunson's just solid. He's a kind of a slow, tough watch at times, but for his size and for his, I mean, the post-game interview with him and Josh Hart was hilarious. If you guys haven't seen that, but they were kind of talking about like how is it watching Jalen Brunson as kind of a shorter, smaller guard, and Josh Hart's just kind of giving him crap the whole time. It was a good interview. And then you got Karl Anthony Towns as well, being Cat. There's another Cat post game interview that you should check out. Maybe we can provide a link to that. But he's got another Catism that came out of last night's win. And then I think kind of the last piece I had from it is we got some deep bench guys who cashed in via making the championship and winning the championship. So shout out Marquette University stud Tyler Kolek. I don't know if you guys remember him a couple years ago. March Madness, little lefty. I mean, they're all kind of going home with like they think it's like 200,000 ish to make the championship, and then an additional 300,000 just to win it.
It's crazy.
So he's walking out of there $500,000 richer. But it makes me happy for those guys. A little bit of bench minutes, or even those guys that are on two-way contracts that are making probably more than they have on their contracts. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on the NBA Cup, but if you do, what do you got?
I'm just glad that the Thunder aren't in it, and that was kind of my hot take when we were kind of previewing the quarterfinals matchup, and I said, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that the Spurs beat the Thunder just because Wemby's kind of almost been to he in the what did I bring up? I brought up the
Olympics.
The Olympics, yeah. He's kind of been on. That was like the biggest stage for him, so I think that was kind of the second biggest stage he's been on. So it's cool to finally see the Thunder lose their second game of the season. I know I'm kind of being a hater right now, but props to the Spurs. They're a great team this year. And the Knicks, I mean, that was a fun game. It was neck and neck game until last couple minutes, but it was really fun.
Yeah, I think, like Pat said, it was kind of good to see OKC not in this one. Just because I think Knicks Spurs was, like you guys said, a really fun game to watch. A lot of good basketball being played, a lot of ethical hoops out there. So, and it was the Knicks kind of surprised me, man. I mean, my take was all wrong. I had OKC taking it all the way, and I'll eat my words on that one for sure. But the Knicks look like a really fun team to just kind of dive into and watch. And then obviously the Spurs with Wemby was a lot of fun to kind of have match up with Wemby and Cat. So I didn't really pay a ton of attention to it, but I did watch the final and yeah, it just looked like a great game, and interested to see where these two teams go from here.
Yeah, no doubt.
Do you think that the Knicks are going to be, last thing, do you think the Knicks are going to be the team come out of the East?
They very well could be.
Yeah.
When they get knocked out in the
I think they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, Eastern Conference Finals.
I think it was, because that was when Tyrese Halliburton hit the big shot against the Knicks.
That's right.
But there was a little bit there that I thought the Knicks were going to be the team going to the championship.
Yeah, I mean they look good.
And the East is abysmal, but
yeah,
it's besides the point. Let's talk some Sacktown hoops. How about that?
Yeah, so let's hop in. Yeah, that brings us right into our first segment. We'll break down the last two games. On Thursday, December 11th in Sacramento, they finished that road trip, extended their road win streak to 11. The final of that game was 136-105. Finally had that blowout win against a bad team. To start the games, kind of back and forth, tied 13 after 6. Nuggets soon went on a quick 17-4 run, pulled away. Jokic was cooking in that first quarter, had 16 points off the bat. Just a good defensive quarter all around, and just a dominant start. Went to the quarter 41-24 going into the second. in the second quarter, Big Val hits a three right off the bat, and you're like, okay, I mean, it's might be a blowout game here going. But Sac kind of responded, went on a 9-0 run. Westbrook was kind of having a Westbrook game, as Matty Ice kind of predicted going into that one, because we had a podcast right before this game. But the Nuggets continued to pull away with the help of P. Watt, just taking it in strong and finishing. Had 13 points in that second quarter. Won the second quarter and had a dominant lead going into the half at 77-54. Into the third, Jokic continued to be Jokic. And then Nuggets defense was huge, just limiting what Sacramento was able to do on their end of the court. Won the quarter 32-27. Had a commanding lead of 109-81 at the end of the quarter. So Jokic was able to rest the entire fourth. Adelman pulled the starters with 6 minutes ago. It's cool to see Hunter Tyson get some big buckets. Had two for two from three. Finished with 8 points. Won that quarter as well, and a 136-105 final. So just finally had a good blowout against a bad team. I know last pod, Maddie, you and I were talking how they haven't had a game against a bad team where they win all 4 quarters, and they finally delivered on that end. So
They
how do
listened
you guys
to
feel
you.
about that? They did. They listened to the pod in the locker room.
Oh, go ahead, Ken.
I was just going to kind of go back on Pat's point to beat a team that you should beat. It's been kind of a weird start with the NBA Cup adding that game to the schedule. It did bless us with the game on Tuesday or Monday night, but kind of tired of seeing them play the Kings, and they had just lost that one. That was pretty frustrating. So to see them come out and beat a team and not have it be super stressful was relief for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah, man. They took care of business, and it's like you and I, Pat, or like you and I said, it's good to see a team win all 4 quarters, and I think we really needed to see that out of this team to kind of get our confidence back as fans. And it is frustrating to see games where you lose, 1 or 2 here in November that are to bad teams. The biggest takeaway for me of this game is the defense. And the game before this, I think the Nuggets kind of took defense seriously in the second half, and then continued it throughout this game. And I think they did a great job of that. Obviously, it's a bad team in Sacramento, but it's still professional basketball. And I think for Big Val to come out with 15 and 18 minutes, P. Watt had 21. Again, P. Watt's been playing really good. And then Jokic being Jokic. So all around, great game, great defensive stand by the guys. And I really love to see that. And I think we need to see more of it. And I think it's a great blueprint for these guys to kind of build off of. So hopefully they take that into account.
Yeah. Some player stats from this game: Jokic, 36 points, 12 rebounds, eight assists, and 2 steals in just 3 quarters. It's routine for him at this point. I mean, it's not even a surprising stat line through 3
Missed
quarters.
2 shots.
Missed 2 shots. Yeah, 14 of 16 field.
Crazy.
Missed as many free throws too. He was 6 from 8 from the line. P. Watt had 21. Like I said, he was just commanding it, driving the lane and finishing. Cam Johnson had a quiet 16. Big Val had 15 points and 18 minutes off the bench. So just a great, complete, all-around blowout from the guys. But let's hop into, I'd say, the best win of the season against Houston at home on Monday, 128-105. Monday, December 15th.
128, 125.
Or, yeah, is that what I said?
You said 105.
Oh, thank you.
I wish it was 128, 105.
Right.
I wish it was that big of a blowout.
But December 15th marks Jokmas. So if you're unfamiliar with Jokmas, it is the day in 2015, or was it 2016, when Jokic got his very first start.
2016.
So celebrated year 9 with a bang. So let's dive right into these notes. We'll go a little bit deeper into this game just because it was the best win of the season, in my opinion. Might just be the best Jokmas of all time. That first quarter, Şengün 8 quick points on jumpers. Jokic was daring him to shoot, and he was shooting. Back and forth game to start. But 6 minutes to go in the game, Piwa exits to the locker room. Wasn't really sure what was going on with him, but he was questionable to return with a right trunk contusion, and he did not return. Spoiler alert. But it was just tough for that KD matchup because he was on KD, and it's just a blow to the shorthanded Nuggets who are missing their main guys in AG and CB defensively. Kind of reminded me of Aaron Gordon leaving early in the matchup earlier this year. But to close the quarter, Rockets shot 55%. Şengün had 10 points. Rockets led 30-24 going into the second. Jokic was able to rest for the first 6 minutes going into the second quarter. Great start from the bench. Think about guys like Big Val and THJ to get the boys going. Took the lead briefly, 37-36. Jokic enters the game. Thought Zeke, Najee had a good defensive efforts, slowing Şengün down. Jokic heated up to close the last couple of minutes. He was just taking over, scoring every chance he got. And I just love when Jokic goes into that mode of I'm going to score every time down the court. Rockets were getting flustered. Şengün got a tech, and just a great overall finish to the half. Won the quarter 34-21, so a dominant quarter, and a 58-51 lead at half. Into the third quarter, Rockets kind of chipped back. It was tied at 65 with 8 minutes to go. Bruce Brown had a flagrant foul, and Houston entered the bonus early in this quarter. Bruce Brown had a coast-to-coast steal at the end of the game, which gave Denver momentum and a 89-86 lead. So I thought it was a great third quarter by Bruce, leading the way off the bench. Nuggets led 89-86, as I said, going into the fourth. Into the fourth quarter, 2 quick fouls to start. Big Val fouled out with 9 minutes to go, so Jokic had to come in a little bit earlier than Adelman planned. Similar to the last quarter, Houston entered the bonus very quickly, and then down the stretch, key plays and scores were traded between Jokic, Şengün, Cam Johnson, Jabari, and Spencer Jones, who actually had a huge three to go up 115-112 with just under a minute to go. KD replies with a three, tied 115, 36 seconds to go. Nuggets get the ball. Murray was fouled. Goes 1 for 2 from the line, which is kind of unlike Jamal, giving the Nuggets a 1-point lead with 18 seconds to go. Then Şengün scores on Jones, gets an and one with 2 seconds to go. Houston leads 117-116. Then Nuggets have timeout, out of bounds play. Amen Thompson trips THJ off ball, gets called as a flagrant foul. Murray hits the technical free throw, tied 117, 2 seconds ago. Jokic misses the three at the buzzer, which sends the game to overtime. And then into overtime, Jokic quickly picked up his 5th foul, so he was dealing with some foul trouble. I feel like a handful of the guys were too, especially in a long game. But Murray scored back-to-back buckets to start, followed by another Spencer Jones three. Gave Denver a 7-point lead with 3 minutes to go. Şengün then scored a layup, and Jabari hits kind of like a fadeaway shot. Closed the gap. Nuggets led by 3 with 2 minutes to go, so just a tight one all game, it felt like. Jokic hit 2 free throws and then fouled out, which was an unsuccessful challenge by Adelman. But the Nuggets led by 5 with 1:20 to go. No Jokic. I felt like this one was over. Amen Thompson fouls Murray, hits 2 free throws. Nuggets up by 6 with 45 seconds to go. Şengün and 1 layup, foul by Spencer Jones. Now 7 seconds left. Rockets timeout and had an out of bounds play. I was kind of surprised they go to Şengün. I don't know if this is how they wrote it up, but Şengün kind of
brick.
just absolutely threw it up for a prayer and missed big on a 3. Bruce B secures the rebound and secures the 128-125 win for the Nuggets. So just an absolute roller coaster of the game. Didn't know that we were going to be able to do it, especially once P. Watt went out early in this one. So, fellas, how do we feel after this game? As I mentioned before, is I thought best win of the season.
Yeah, I think that this one and the game on the road in Houston were kind of two testers that made me feel really good with where the Nuggets are at, but also showed a lot of resilience. With again, like you said, AG going down in that first game, and then I mean we're thin. We're down two starters, and then a guy that's really had to step up for us in the last month has been P-Watt. He goes down with kind of a weird injury. It just seemed like all of a sudden he was out and didn't really have a whole lot of answers. Wondering if he was going to come back, and then we saw that he was out. So, I mean, Spencer Jones ends up playing 40 minutes in this game, which is crazy to think about. I don't think any of us would have had that on the bingo card heading into the season. And then, kind of a big contribution for me, and something that made me feel real good was I feel like the second quarter maybe things were a little dry with Jokic off the floor, and we just started feeding Valanciunas, and he had a couple of kind of tough turnaround shots, a couple hooks, and it's really the first time in a long time that you feel kind of confident having one of those backup bigs in there being able to score. I think we've had guys that can facilitate maybe a little bit, thinking like Plumlee way back, or guys that are in there more defensive minded. But to kind of have a guy that can get in there and get some buckets, getting close to the basket and getting some easy ones when things are getting tough is really big. And I think that kind of all played into this back and forth game as you led us through, Pat. Like it seemed like every other point was Nuggets score, Rockets score, Nuggets score, Rockets score, and to end up with a win felt really good.
Yeah, no doubt. Natty Ice, your thoughts on the best win of the year?
I think Ken hit the nail on the head with resiliency, man. Like you got two of your best defenders already out this game. Your third best, arguably, P-Watt goes down. I do want to touch on something that isn't really reflected in the score or probably in the score, but not in stats. Is Jokic was all over the place, man. Jokic was bouncing around, running around like crazy. Kind of looked like playoff Jokic for a little bit, especially on defense. And I think he did a great job inside, making sure that he was, getting to the spots where he needed to, closing out on Şengün. And I think he kind of set the precedent, and then everybody else followed. And Big Val and THJ had a great game. Like you guys said, Big Val with those hook shots and turnaround shots. He was looking for the ball a lot. When they were running down the floor in transition, when they were setting up their half-court offense, he was looking for the ball. He was calling for the ball. And there was one play I remember is kind of swinging around the top of the key. Ball got back to, I think, either Jamal or Tim Hardaway. I can't remember exactly, but Valanciunas was like open in the middle, like almost top of the key, like free throw line, kind of just doing a half circle. They got him the ball, and Şengün closed out on him, and he just immediately went to like a almost like Sombor fadeaway, and he nailed it. And that's really what you like to see out of the bench guys, wanting the ball and just going to town when you get it, having like playing with the confidence that you can beat a team like the Rockets. And I think that's all that happened in this game. I think Denver played with the confidence that they could beat them despite being shorthanded, and they came out on top. And yeah, like you guys said, probably the best game of the season by far. And I think it speaks to the resiliency and the depth of this team. I think they did a great job.
I agree.
I just think that we seemed more calm, cool, collected in those moments last night. And this is a team that's been battle tested for years. And I think the Rockets are really good. They have some really good vets. Obviously, KD's been through his fair share of really close games in his career. But I feel like we just had the upper hand in terms of kind of that. I can't think of the word, but just the way we handled it. We were calm under pressure. The Rockets seemed like the flustered team, is something that we were texting about last night when we were watching it, or the other night when we were watching it. And It's just it's good to see. And kind of going back to that big Val point, it's like you got to remember that this guy is a starting center, and he'd been a stud for many years on these other teams, and it's cool to have a guy like that off the bench.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up how these guys kind of pick up each other, especially once P Watt went out. Maddie, you said it kind of felt like a playoff yoke game, and this game kind of gave playoff vibes. And I mean, this could be a matchup in the playoffs. Um, it just gave those vibes since each team had a couple days off because of the cup. Um, each team was a little bit rested, ready to go. Definitely a marquee matchup. Some stats for the guys. Jokic finished 39, 15, and 10. He 5 from 9 from 3, so definitely looked like playoff yoke. Jamal 35, 3 and 5, 14 of 15 from the line. I know I was kind of glazing Jamal for playing ethical hoops and doesn't get to the line a lot, but a lot of these were technical foul free throws. But cool to see those two guys. I mean, the best two man in the NBA, other than when Matty Ice and I are running a podcast together.
You know it.
Just kidding. But those two guys combined for 74 points. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Cam Johnson had 13, another quiet contribution from him. He's kind of stepping up a little bit, almost as like the third man in that starting lineup. THJ, as we mentioned, was good off the bench, had 13 points. And Jones, I was really impressed with his defensive efforts throughout the game. 11 points, but played 40 minutes. Absolutely crazy. So my question to you guys now is, as we're talking about it being similar to a playoff matchup, is how do we feel about a Nuggets-Rockets matchup into the playoffs? We beat them twice this year, both shorthanded. How are we feeling?
I sorry, I want to touch on something before we get into
Oh, you're good.
the questions. I don't want to take too long on this, but Spencer Jones has been one of the best diamond in the rough finds just for the first half of the season here that I think we've had in a long time. He's playing with a ton of confidence. Shout out Calvin Booth for finding Spencer Jones, but I think the team has a lot of trust in him. He made his how many starts has he made? 8, something like that this year.
Something like that, yeah.
Is it 8? Is it higher? I think it's higher than that. I think it's more than 8. 10 or 15. Wow. He's made a lot of starts and he's playing like he has the confidence to do that. And I think that speaks to the chemistry that the guys have in the locker room. I think that speaks to David Adelman putting his trust in him, ownership for sure. But I love the way that Spencer Jones is playing, and I love the fact that he is an option, a proven option at the moment when we get into playoffs. I don't think he's going to shy away. I don't think any of that is going to affect him. He's playing like his nuts are on the floor, and he's done a fantastic job. He played 40 minutes against the Rockets. 40 minutes against a really good team.
And he had some huge threes too.
He had
huge in overtime too.
Yeah.
Not saying that jumper still doesn't look broke, but it works, man. It's working. It's like yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's good.
He's rising to the occasion, and he's fitting in with this fast-paced Nuggets squad, which is great to see. And
for our baseball fans out there, his jump shot looks like Hunter Pence's swing, to be completely honest with you.
It's a good comp. That's a great comp. But going back to my question, how do you guys feel about a potential Nuggets-Rockets matchup into the playoffs?
I feel like I keep bringing up Big Val, but I think that backup piece in a playoff match is going to be huge, especially with a team that's got size in Şengün and Adams. And I don't know how much of that kind of double big matchup we'll see. I'm really intrigued once we get playoffs. God forbid anybody else keeps going down with injuries. But we've kind of gotten used to this AG as the backup 5. And I think sometimes, depending on matchups, it can get really tough. thinking a couple years ago when it was like Gobert and Towns as kind of the two bigs, and we just had Jokic and AG kind of playing that backup five. So I think having that size off the bench is going to be big. I think that he's a proven matchup or a proven guy in this matchup. And then obviously, I mean, we're not even seeing this team at full strength. I know the Rockets had a couple guys down, but I think when things are really clicking and hopefully our starters are all healthy, like I feel very confident in this matchup. And I feel like that lack of experience per se on the Rockets side of things outside of Kevin Durant definitely would make me feel pretty confident within this matchup.
I like that take. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think when we get guys healthy, and Ken, you made a great point of kind of seeing AG has been our backup big for the majority of the Jokic era that we've had playoff contention for the Nuggets. So I love it, honestly, and they've played it. They'll play each other enough during the regular season. I think they match up really well. The bigs are obviously going to match up well. But I would take Jamal Murray like he's playing right now, and P Watt and THJ and all of our guards that are playing really well. I would take them over Houston kind of any day of the week, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
Biased as that may be, but I love that matchup. And I love it because it's going to be a good playoff matchup. I think we match up well with Houston. I think Houston matches up well with us. I think it's going to be fun basketball to watch, but I also think the Nuggets will be able to handle their business and come out on top.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to see what we would be able to do with a fully healthy Nuggets squad. I mean, that's best case scenario. And usually in sports, it doesn't work like that, but we'll see.
Can I touch on one quick thing that we didn't get to within this matchup on the other night? I know if you're in tune with a lot of DMVR, they just had Bruce Brown on the show today. But I feel like he had the ultimate Bruce Brown game against Houston the other night. The stats in terms of scoring were not something to jump off the charts by any means. He only had 2 points, and it was on that kind of breakaway layup after the steal. But having a guard come off the bench and get 9 boards, get 4 assists, and then the big one for me is those 3 steals. I think he's really kind of taken that defensive, being the center of that defense if he can, and trying to bring as much energy and kind of that just pestiness that he has, and kind of having that be his role. It's fun to watch him kind of be in that bag per se.
He is a pest, dude, and he was showing that to us at the beginning of the year. And then I kind of went off and I was like, where was that? Or where has that been for the last, stretch of, 5-10 games or whatever. And as long as he knows, or as long as he kind of brings it back, and can do that fairly consistently, or have games like that are fairly consistent, I think it'll be, I mean, we'll get classic Bruce Brown, and I love it. I think that's a great fit for this team.
Yeah, love Brucey B, especially come playoff time. It'll be fun to have him back on our side. But let's roll right into segment 2. We got the fall damage report with Matty Ice.
Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry. All right.
There it is. I was waiting for that sound. That's the fall damage report sound from Fortnite, if you're not familiar with that sound. The Washed Nuggets are huge Fortnite fanatics, especially during Christmas time.
You guys trying to play later?
Oh, I'm so down.
Hey, winter, not to get too off track, but Winterfest drops in about 5 hours, something like that, 4.5. Anyway, fall damage report. Here we go. We have added, Cam, do not distract me. We have added some people to our questionable list in terms of injuries. Unfortunately, like we said before, the Peyton Watson injury is being called a right trunk contusion. And for those of you guys that don't know what that is, it's basically just a big chest bruise. So any acute injury, getting hit really hard, see this most of the time with car accidents, biking accidents, etc. It's just a really hard hit to your trunk area, so your torso in any way. But Peyton Watson, I'm not. I think he took a fall, or I actually didn't watch the first quarter of this game, so
I'm not even sure what
I'm not
like
even
how he
sure
went
what
out.
happened. I think he might have
Was it
got.
quite literally fall damage?
It might have been quite literally
Huh.
fall damage.
Bro forgot to build.
That's a good pull. So he is out with a right trunk contusion. He's being listed as day to day. So he's questionable for Thursday's game versus the Magic. I don't see that being a big issue at all if they're taking care of it right. I think he just needs a couple day rest, and um, I think if they keep him out for the Orlando game, might not fare well for the Nuggets in that way, but I think he'll be back to healthy and not have to deal with it a ton. Um, Tim Hardaway Jr. is listed as questionable due to illness. There is a lot of stuff going around Denver at the moment. I don't know if that's countrywide. I don't know if you guys are seeing that, but there's a lot of people getting sick over here. Just flu, cold like symptoms. It's going
That
around.
it's
Uh,
that time of year, yeah.
it's kind of that time of year. So that's where we're at with the questionable guys. And then obviously Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon were both seen as non-contact practice participants a couple days ago in practice, which is great. Both of them were in street gear, just throwing up shots, kind of, getting their work in wherever they can. They were not participating in full practice. Christian Brown, with his ankle injury, was spotted doing some training off to the side during Saturday's practice. That is from Brendan Vogt of DNVR. Shout out those guys. And then Aaron Gordon is still out with the hamstring, and he's still not expected to return before Christmas, as Vinny Benedetto of the Denver Gazette reports to us. So both of those guys still not even day to day. They're definitely out. I think Christian Brown is kind of seeing a little bit more progress than AG is, or so they are letting everybody know.
Yeah.
I would expect Christian Brown to be, like we said, I think he's going to be reevaluated early January, and then Aaron Gordon is still like January, like after January 10th or something like that, to be reevaluated. So we're going to be missing those guys for a little bit longer. Nuggets Nation, hang in there. I think we'll see Christian Brown back before we see AG back.
Okay, that's good to know. And then not on this report is Julian Strawther, so you can kind of assume that he'll be
Yes,
available
true.
for tomorrow's game.
Yeah, he was
I just
not.
thought of that. Yeah,
Yeah, he was not listed in the questionables, so I think he is. I think he's active.
I think he is. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it'll be exciting to see what he'll be able to do.
I
If he
think it's
gets some
been
minutes.
been good for the vibes to see like AG and CB courtside and kind of being posted on social medias and all that. It's good to see them around. I feel like there's a little bit there. We didn't really get to see a whole lot what was going on. So
yeah,
giving some hope. But I mean, we're still winning games, being shorthanded, kind of to lead us into that next segment. Just like how we keep sustaining and kind of that point I keep bringing up, just being resilient with all these injuries going on. With CB going down November 12th and AG going down November 21st. The stats have actually been kind of cool to look at. Pat, if you want to kind of lead us through the before and after injuries, I think it's pretty
Yeah, of
interesting to look
course.
into.
Yeah, thanks for leading us into our main segment, which will be the keys to the shorthanded success that the Nuggets have had as of recent. So CB went down on November 12th. AG went down on November 21st. The Nuggets had a record of 11-3 prior to that. And since then, they have a record of 8-3. So they've been doing honestly great since those guys went down. I know there's some iffy games in there that we kind of judged a little bit harder. But yeah, it seems like some of the keys to success on my end, I think everybody's picking each other up. And this team is known to do that. Every guy's minutes are up. Think about guys like Spencer Jones; his minutes are up big. Um, Jokic is averaging 30.7 points since the injuries. He was at 29 before, so he's up in points by almost two. Jamal's numbers are up. He's at in, after the injuries, he's averaging 27.6. Prior to the injuries, he was only averaging 22.8, which is still pretty good for Jamal. Um, Now averaging 7.5 assists. Cam Johnson, I'd say he's been the biggest jump up as a starter since the injuries. I think he's um, like I mentioned before, he's kind of been the quiet man of the starting unit that is putting up some good numbers. Since the injuries, he's averaging 14.7. Prior to the injuries, he was kind of our concern early in the year. He was only averaging 8.6 points. And I mean, all of his averages are up. P Watt's averages are up. He's at 13.5 points, 5.5 rebounds. He was only at 8.2 points before. THJ's averages are up. Uh, yeah, it's just been great to see all around each guy stepping up, knowing what they have to do, because I think these guys have learned from last year in the playoffs. When guys go down, you have to make a big step up, and that's what they're doing so far.
Yeah, I mean, I really I touched on I touched on Spencer Jones earlier because I think it's a little bit more obvious to kind of see like, oh man, Spencer Jones is making a big time, contribution. I so um but looking at the list, it's hard to pick out one guy. On the list we have here, it's everybody's stats before the game and stats after the game, and or stats before the injuries and after the injuries. And all of the stats after the injuries are in bold, the ones that have made a jump and the ones that have increased. There's a lot of bold on this list.
Yeah,
There's a
and
lot
I'll
of
I'll I'll post this to the socials actually, because I kind of spent a good 30 minutes diving deep on StatMuse to pull all these averages.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll definitely post
No,
it to the socials.
that's a great idea so that you guys can see it. But it's hard to pick out one guy. P Watts made a huge jump. Tim Hardaway's made a huge jump. Bruce Brown has made a huge jump, and not only his points are still kind of hovering at 6.5 or around there, but his minutes have gone up. And like you guys said earlier, his defense and his rebounds and his court presence has really stepped up in a big way. Big Val's minutes have stepped up, and I think they're using him a little bit more strategically, which is fantastic. And then obviously Cam Johnson, huge step up, averaging 14.7 now, and 36, almost 36 and a half minutes a game. So, uh, these guys, like we talked about, resilience, and it's a next man up mentality right now, which
Yeah,
I don't think we've seen from the Nuggets in a long time. But they are doing the most without 2-star players, especially 2-star defensive players. And I think they're doing a fantastic job with this. And if you guys see that when we post it on the socials, then you'll see it, man. It's really cool to see that they're taking it to heart and they're buying in.
yeah. I'll post it to Twitter, or I guess X as they call it nowadays. So if you haven't followed us already, we're trying to gain our followers on Twitter. I think we only have like 5 or 6,
Give
6
us
or
some
7.
love.
Give us some love. We're having some fun with that account for sure. But KP, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the thing you put together with all these stats is pretty cool to look through, and it kind of makes sense just based off the games when you watch them and checking to see how things have been going. I think that when you think of what's going to happen when these guys go out, is it going to be Jokic scoring a bunch more? Maybe he's assisting a lot more, and it's kind of funny to see. I mean, he's increased points per game a little bit, but the rebounds and the assists are pretty similar. And then you look down and you see Jamal, and I really feel like this has been something that Jamal has taken to heart and kind of making this his thing. Is like, how can I provide for these guys that are out, you know? And I think he's probably a little bit, the last couple of years, the Nuggets have dealt with Jamal being injured, Jamal being off to slow starts, and a lot of those other guys having to pick up some of that slack. And I think that a big piece with Jamal and some of the things I've heard, I've seen Adelman kind of challenging Jamal to be a leader and to kind of really lead this team, especially when these guys are out, or providing, you know, a lot of mentorship to some of these younger guys that are now playing some big minutes. I think of P-Watt, I think of Spencer Jones. But I think the number that really sticks out for me is Jamal's scoring going up about 4 points per game. But those assists, I mean, he's dishing the ball out at additional 2 assists per game since those injuries kind of started to happen. And I feel like he's taken a little bit of that off of Yoke, so Yoke's not having to do as much. I feel like if you would have asked us, all right, what's this next month span, 2 month span going to look like without these guys? He probably would have said Jokic is going to be shooting, 25, 30 shots a night. Maybe he's scoring a lot, but we're not winning as many of these games because we're not getting contributions. So I think Jamal's been really big to kind of allow Yoke to kind of do his thing, but not have to do as much as we've seen in previous years. And then it just leads to success when the rest of the bench and the other guys are contributing because they see that, oh, we can also play a role in it. We don't have to just rely on Yoke. So I think Jamal, and I don't remember who said this a couple of years ago, but like I feel like Jamal really is the heartbeat of this team. Like he really is the guy that like brings that to the team. And I know we think Jokic is, we know he's the main guy and he's the head honcho of the team, but I think Jamal really brings that kind of fire and that spirit, and it's really cool to see him grow as a leader throughout these 11 games so far, on top of his great start, obviously.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. So that kind of leads into my question of who are you guys most impressed by, or like who do you feel like has kind of picked up the slack the most? Like who are you most impressed by? Picked up the slack the most since these injuries?
I would have to go with Jamal. I know I just kind of harped on it a little bit, but we were happy with his start, and obviously this last 8-3 record with the last 11 games there's been a couple of really big scoring nights that's kind of boosted that scoring for Jamal. But I think to see him all of a sudden really flourishing as Jamal Star that you guys have been kind of hyping up on the socials and we've been seeing more and more of, I think a lot of that is due to the fact that he's being asked to contribute more and be more of a leader within the team. So if I had to pick one guy, I'm going with the heartbeat of the Nuggets, and that's Jamal Murray.
I love that. Matt, who's been your standout?
Great take, Ken. I harped on Spencer Jones earlier, and I think he's a fantastic candidate for this pick. But I'm going to have to go with Cam Johnson. And I think he's played well on both sides of the ball. And I think he is starting to have the year that we thought he was going to have when he came in. And it took him a long while to get traction. But I do want to give him some grace and fitting into a new team and a new scheme and everything, and new offensive rotation. But I think he's done a fantastic job picking up the slack, especially where we kind of lose the offensive production of AG and Christian Brown, especially since AG was on a huge tear from behind the line and his shooting form got a lot better, and we started to see those offensive numbers pop for AG. I do want to give a special consideration, though, to Bruce Brown and Tim Hardaway Jr., because I think they have both stepped it up big time defensively. I said earlier, Bruce Brown has that defensive dog in him for sure, and it was kind of lacking a little bit. But they had Tim Hardaway Jr. on who was it?
Şengün?
No, well, a little bit, but they had him on. Who else did they put him on that he kind
Thompson,
of did a really good job?
Yeah.
Durant was a big one that they switched him onto purposefully. And I think he stepped up big time, and he's also stepped up in the offensive game. So I'm going to say Cam Johnson, but I'm going to give a special shout out to those defensive guys because I think they've done a fantastic job in getting the defense rolling again for the Nuggets.
It's hard not to say Cam Johnson. He's averaging six more points since the injuries, 2 point more rebounds as well. And I'm glad that you brought up the defensive side of things with those guys off the bench stepping up big, because defense, that was one of our main concerns a few weeks ago. And since then, I mean, it hasn't really been something that we've been concerned with, and partially because we're winning games, but it doesn't matter. We're winning games. So I'd say guy I'm most impressed by, I would say Cam Johnson, but I'm going to give it to Spencer Jones just because he's a two-way guy, and man, nothing but respect for this guy.
He's playing to get out of that two-way, man.
Yeah, exactly. 40 minutes in that last game. He's just been huge defensively. I know he draws a lot of fouls, but maybe that's just his style of basketball where he plays hard, and really impressed by him. Have you guys seen speaking of Spencer Jones, his LinkedIn stuff?
Yes.
He's kind of a LinkedIn menace.
Is he really?
Bro's preparing for the rest of his life currently.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing 40 minutes against the Rockets.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's active on LinkedIn, always updating it. I mean, he's treating the NBA as a job, which it is a job. But he knows that as a two-way, nothing's guaranteed in basketball. So I have nothing but respect for what Spencer Jones is doing on and off the court, especially LinkedIn.
I have a hard time believing that even if the Nuggets don't pick up a full contract for him later on, that he's not playing to get one with another team.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he's starting to prove himself. No doubt.
He really is. And I like that you touched on his physicality, because Malone, or not Malone, oh my God, David Adelman had said something the other day that was, we're not drawing enough fouls. We're not getting physical enough with these teams. And he is bringing that physicality, which I love. And I think he's a very coachable dude, which, you know, from us being athletes, we know very well to be coachable. But great job touching on Spencer Jones there.
Yeah, thank you. Let's go into our predictions for the next week. We'll go pretty quick on this so we can go into our last festive segment. So the next week we got Thursday at home versus Orlando, Saturday at home against Houston again, Monday at home versus Utah, and then have a back-to-back going to Dallas on Tuesday, and then Thursday got the marquee Christmas game against Minnesota. That'll be the Christmas night special. So let's go quick on our predictions. There's 5 games. How do we think we do in this next Christmas week?
That's tough, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like Houston, it's always tough to beat a team 3 times. Orlando, I think, should be a win. I'm feeling better now that they have some home games because we finally won a game at home. So I say we beat Orlando. I might say we lose to Houston. We beat Utah. We beat Dallas, and we win on Christmas night. So I think 4-1.
I like that. I'm gonna say 3-2. I'd love to say 5-0, but that would extend the win streak to 10.
That's just never going to happen. So.
Shout out Broncos extending their win streak to 11.
It's true. Yeah. But I could see us losing to Houston. I bet Houston's going to come out with some vengeance. And then that Minnesota one, they're going to want some revenge as well. Definitely one that they always circle on their schedule is Denver. So, Matt, what are your thoughts? What do you think we do this week?
I'm going to take a win versus Orlando, a loss versus Houston. I think we beat Utah here. I think Dallas was a tough one.
We lost to them.
Worst
loss of the season.
That was the worst loss of the season. I think they handle business. Here's what I would like to say, because I really want to look at this and be like, yeah, the Nuggets are on a roll. I could very well see the Nuggets beating Houston again. I
like that.
I don't think a lot went right for them, for the Nuggets, and I think a lot went right for Houston. And I think if the Nuggets kind of clean it up in the next couple games and they come out with the confidence that they did, I think they can beat Houston. I think it'll be a close game. but I think they can do it. I would love to say that, but I'm going to take a win versus Orlando, loss versus Houston, and then they win out the rest. So win versus Utah. They beat Dallas in Dallas, and then obviously Christmas night, you got to beat Minnesota.
All right, I like it. All right, let's go into our last festive segment. We're going to talk about our favorite Christmas songs. You know what? Let's go on an impromptu snake draft. We'll go.
Say what?
What? Looks like in our chat we've got a draft order already selected. So it'll be me, Matt, and then Ken will go. So in the first pick of the favorite Christmas song draft, I'm going with Wonderful Christmas Time. Just an absolute all-timer. My favorite one, no doubt.
I think that's the right pick.
Yeah.
101. Okay, I'll write it down in the chat.
Yeah.
With the second pick, I'm going with Merry Christmas. It's a kind of a duet with Ed Sheeran and Elton John.
Ooh, that's your first pick. I like that.
Elton John.
It's
just Merry Christmas?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if I'm familiar. I probably would know it if I heard it.
You probably will.
All right. My first overall pick in the inaugural Christmas music has got to be Last Christmas by Wham.
Yeah, that's a solid one.
Got to be Last Christmas by Wham.
That's awesome.
And then since I had snake draft and I go back to back, ooh, that's tough because I'm not going to have one for a while. I might have to go with Christmas Baby Please Come Home by U2.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yes, by U2.
Like
Pat, I don't know if you're familiar, but your dad made a Christmas playlist a long time ago, and my parents have it.
Of course he did.
And that's the very first song on it, and it just reminds me of my childhood Christmas time. So
I did not know that. Thanks.
I'll share the playlist with you.
Please do. All right, Matt, your pick.
All right.
Pick.
My second pick is going to be Mele Kalikimaka by Bing Crosby and Your Sisters.
Can you say that again?
Mele Kalikimaka.
I like that a lot. With my second pick, I'm going to go with Jingle Bell Rock.
Yeah.
Just a banger. Come on now.
Banger.
I'm about to listen to some Christmas music after this pod. All right, and then I think it goes back to you, Matt. I got
your last pick.
Pick. Oh yeah, Pat.
Ooh, man.
Pat, what was your last one, Pat? Sorry.
What did I say? Jingle Bell Rock.
Jingle Bell Rock.
And then with my third and final pick, I'm gonna go with "Thank God It's Christmas" by Queen.
There you go.
Yeah, just a great one. My mom is a massive Queen fan, and that was always kind of a nostalgic one growing up. I know I'm passing up on so many other great Christmas songs, so I'm excited to see your guys' picks.
My third pick, I have to shout out my girlfriend who's not going to listen to this pod. Her favorite artist. I'm going with Christmas Tree Farm by Taylor Swift.
Oh, wow. Yours is so diverse.
Yeah, it is.
I'm loving this. Oh, man. My final pick of the Christmas song draft. I got to go with my gut. I'm going to say Last Christmas by the one, the only Donny Hathaway. There is also a great Chris Brown version as well.
Okay.
Oh,
you can check out. But
sweet.
It's a good one. And there you have it.
Yeah, let us know in the comments who won this impromptu Christmas music snake draft. If you're curious, Pat, myself, I had Wonderful Christmas Time, Jingle Bell Rock, and Thank God It's Christmas. Matt had Merry Christmas. Matt, you're gonna have to pronounce that one.
Melikalikimaka.
I tried to spell it as best I could. I have no idea.
No, you did a good job.
And then Matt also had Christmas Tree Farm, and then Kennedy's picks. K-Bear had Last Christmas, which is a great one by Wham. Um, Also had Christmas, Baby Please Come Home, and then This Christmas by Donny Hathaway. So if you made it this far, why not throw a comment? I know we're going on hour and 5 minutes. But yeah,
If you made it this far, you're a real one.
You are a real one.
you're a real one.
Yeah.
And if you're not subscribed, what in the world are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. It's free. You're going to get, not only will you be subscribed to our show, you'll also be able to stay up to date with the Sunday Debrief, our NFL show. They're working hard, producing some great stuff there. Go follow us on the socials. We'll be working hard with the shorts. We'll probably take next week off for Christmas. So go ahead and maybe make a playlist out of our draft, our snake draft. But without further ado, Matty Ice, hit that outro button.
Peace.